So now that the jalapenos are cooked, I'm going to transfer them from my rice cooker into my blender, and then I'll put my tomatillos in the rice cooker so that they can cook or soften up a little bit, and that's how I'm going to create the salsa for the enchiladas verdes. So this was actually pretty spicy, and the consistency was still a little bit chunkier than I would like for enchiladas. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna use some more of these tomatillos that I have here, and I'm going to add them to my blender. This should help me with the consistency of the salsa. And that is exactly what we were looking for. There's not as much texture as there was before. So now I'm gonna put these together. There's already salt in this, so no need to add any additional salt. I'm getting ready to make the enchiladas, enchiladas verdes, and I'm gonna try to make a healthier version of it just because I'm always trying to watch what I eat, since, you know, struggle is real. But I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna try to make it a little bit healthier. So typically you have to fry the tortillas before you start, but what I'm gonna do, since this is the only thing that I have here in my kitchen is this electric skillet, is I set it to about 300 degrees. I'm gonna use the corn tortillas, and I'm gonna warm up the tortillas first. Now when you warm up the tortillas, they are a lot more flexible than when they're, you know, not warm. In fact, if you try folding one that's cold or not been warmed up yet, it'll break. So I'll show you guys how I'm gonna be warming them up, and then I'll show you the next step in just a little bit. All right, so now that the tortillas are ready, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dip them in the salsa like this on both sides. And then I'm going to place it on top of the other tortillas. I'll be grabbing some of this chicken here and stuffing the tortilla with it. I would say maybe about an ounce, ounce and a half. You don't want to make them too big. And then you're just simply going to tuck and roll like this until you make like a taquito, all right? Then we're gonna place it in this container. Now, I don't have an oven here in the hotel, so I'm gonna have to use my electric skillet. And I'll come back when all of these are done. So now that I have all the enchiladas rolled up here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add extra salsa to the enchiladas. I'm gonna try to maneuver this here and just kind of spread it there. This. And finally, what I'm gonna do after I add salsa here to the sides and to the enchiladas, I'm going to add some cheese. This is Boar's Head Munster cheese. I don't have a way to shred it. I bought a block, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and spread these big chunks here. Try to do it as evenly as possible so that it can melt again as evenly as possible, and this is going to make it super delicious. Typically, if I'm making red enchiladas, this is what I would stuff them with. This is a little bit different than the Mexican cheese that you would get, you know, at the store. So I'm going to put all of this here, and then the last thing is I'm going to cover this with aluminum, put it inside my electric skillet, and then come back and top it with a little bit of sour cream And then the last step would be to top it off with a little bit of queso fresco. So these were here for about a total of 10 to 15 minutes. The longer you keep them in here, the more the cheese is gonna melt, but we are ready to eat. So I'm gonna go ahead and serve these plates. If you were baking these at home, I would recommend that you do it at about 350 degrees for maybe like 20 minutes. Again, just until the cheese is melted, since all of these ingredients are already cooked. And here are the enchiladas. Now, since we didn't fry the tortillas, of course, they do tend to fall apart a little bit more, but I'm gonna show you how I'm going to plate these. So now that we have the enchiladas here, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of queso fresco. I'm gonna use my hands for this part. Just crumble a little bit of cheese on top. You can add any kind of cheese that you like. Queso fresco is definitely something that I recommend for this recipe, but if you can't find it at your store, you can use feta cheese. All right, and so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some sour cream. I put it into a bag because I like to add a little bit of sour cream like this, as opposed to just big globs of it. And this is the type of sour cream that I'm using, which is the same brand as the queso fresco. So finally, you can serve this with a salad or with rice, but we don't like to do two types of carbs on the same dinner plate. Typically, we'll just do tortillas or rice, not both. All right, so then I'm gonna add a little bit of avocado here on top. We love avocado. And then the last thing is you can add a little bit of fresh cilantro to the top. And there you have it.